You ever have one of those surgeries where you wake up and immediately feel like a useless, overfed house cat? That was me. Post-op, swollen like a microwave burrito, stuck on the lazy boy for 3 weeks while my family took care of me. Except, turns out, they were mostly taking care of themselves. The backstory's simple. Tore my rotator cuff slipping on our wet driveway while hauling in groceries. Yeah, real glamorous. I'd just turned 42, and gravity decided I was past my warranty. Fast forward through the MRI, the overly chipper orthopedic surgeon, and a weirdly flirtatious anesthesiologist, and boom, I'm home with a sling, a bottle of hydrocodone, and the mobility of a houseplant. My wife, Carrie, was the model caretaker at first. Chicken soup, those silly protein shakes I hate, even stayed home from work a couple extra days. She'd pat my good shoulder and say things like, "Don't worry, babe. I got everything." She got a lot more than I thought. We have 3 kids. Tyler, 16, into gaming and monosyllables. Ava, 14, sharp as hell, thinks she's smarter than me. And Emmy, our little 3-year-old hurricane in bunny pajamas. I always called her my echo, 'cause she repeated everything I said. Turns out, she repeated a little too much. The first clue that something was off came exactly 5 days after I got home. It was early, like crack of dawn early. I'd barely slept because the pain meds made my dreams feel like acid trips. I stumbled into the living room for water and saw Emmy sitting on the floor with her stuffed giraffe, mumbling her usual toddler nonsense. But then I heard it, clear as day. "Mommy, go hotel with Peter." I froze. She said it again. "Mommy, go hotel. With Peter. I stay with Ava." Now listen, I'm not the paranoid type. My wife and I have been together 18 years. We've had our fights. We've had cold dinners and colder silences. But I always believed we were solid. So hearing our toddler casually drop a phrase like that, it didn't compute. I crouched down, slowly, because, one working shoulder, and said, "Sweetie, what did you say?" She smiled like I'd asked about cookies. "Mommy, go hotel with Peter." Peter funny. He had snack. Peter. Peter from Carrie's work. Peter, the guy who never shuts up at the company barbecue. Peter, who's been married for 6 years to a kindergarten teacher named Morgan and once drunkenly told me he used to be a polyamory guy. That Peter. I didn't react. Not right away. Just smiled, gave Emmy a juice box, and limped back to my recliner. I didn't want to believe it. I needed something, anything, that made it make sense. Maybe Emmy heard something on TV. Maybe she misunderstood. Maybe Carrie was helping Peter with something at work. Maybe. But I couldn't shake the weirdness. Couldn't unhear it. Couldn't forget the way Emmy had said it like it was just part of her week. That afternoon, I waited until Ava came home from school. Carrie was still at work. She said she was covering a shift for a friend. Typical. I called Ava into the living room. She came in, phone in hand, half listening. "Hey," I said. "Got a weird question." She raised an eyebrow. "Okay. Last Thursday, were you with your mom all day?" She blinked. "Yeah. After school." "Doing what?" "Just errands. Groceries." She picked me up after 4th period. I nodded slowly. "You mind if I see your Snapchat memories for that day?" Boom. That was the moment her face cracked. Just a flicker. But enough. The half-second delay. The way her lips parted like she was about to lie and remembered she was talking to her dad, not some gullible math teacher. "Why?" she asked. "I just want to see." She hesitated. "That's kind of private." "And so is cheating," I said. She went pale. "I didn't say she cheated, yet," I added. "But your sister did." Ava's whole body went still. Then she looked at the floor. "I didn't know it was that serious," she mumbled. "That she was what exactly? I thought it was just lunch or something. Just Peter." There it was. Like a wound splitting open. She handed me her phone without another word. I scrolled. Thursday's memories? A total lie. She was clearly at Kayla's house all day. I could see the stupid TikTok filters and the hashtag bored afterchim captions. No errands. No groceries. No mom. "Why'd you lie for her?" I asked quietly. She said it was nothing. She promised. And she said you didn't need stress while recovering. I stared at her. "I'm not your patient," I said. "I'm your dad." She looked like she might cry, but I didn't soften. "Not yet." "When?" I asked. "When did it start?" "I don't know," she whispered. "Before your surgery, I think." I never saw them kiss or anything. But I heard her talking on the phone. Laughing. "Peter." The guy who brought my wife coffee with extra love written on the sleeve. The guy who stayed late at the office with her more often than made sense. The guy I never liked but never thought twice about. My brain buzzed like a hornet's nest. I leaned back, nodded slowly, and handed her phone back. "Thank you for telling me the truth," I said. "I'm sorry. You will be." She flinched. Not in fear. In shame. That night, I made a plan. I didn't yell. I didn't confront Carrie. I didn't even bring it up. Because I needed more than suspicion. I needed confirmation. Proof. Something she couldn't lie her way out of. And I had a welcome home party coming up. Carrie was the one who suggested it, actually. Said it'd be a great way to show everyone you're back on your feet. I told her it was a great idea. Smiled. Said I'd love to see everyone. Said I'd help with the guest list. And you better believe Peter and his wife Morgan were invited. I even offered to get the projector out for photos. "Let's show a little slideshow," I told Carrie. "Remind everyone what they missed." She kissed my cheek and said, "That's why I love you. You always make things feel normal." I smiled again. Because normal was officially canceled. Let me tell you something about recovering from surgery. It gives you a lot of time. Too much time, really. The kind where your brain goes places it shouldn't, spinning loops of what if and maybe not. But after Ava handed over that phone, and after Emmy's little slip of the tongue, there wasn't any more room for denial. The truth didn't creep in. It sucker punched me. So I sat in that ugly recliner, half numb from painkillers and fully numb from betrayal, and started planning. The welcome home party was 3 days away. Carrie thought it was her idea, something light, something sweet. A way to show the neighbors and co-workers that the Wilcox family was back on track, stronger than ever. Our version of clapping back at adversity. But behind her, we're so blessed. Group texts and Pinterest appetizers. There was rot. And now I had the receipts. Just not all of them yet. I needed more. See, I've worked in IT long enough to know most people are careless. They think logging out is privacy. They think deleting a message means it's gone. But Carrie? She was a suburban mom with 3 kids and a cheating habit, not a CIA operative. While she showered that night, I got into her laptop. No password change. Nothing hidden. Just her usual tabs. Amazon, Pinterest, and a Gmail inbox wide open. I wasn't looking for love letters or steamy exchanges. I figured she wasn't dumb enough to leave those. What I was hoping for was evidence of coordination. Schedules. Mentions of Peter. And sure enough, there it was. An email from her to a P_Walker27, subject line, hotel options. The message was short. "Hey, this one has 2 entrances and a covered lot. I can be there by 1. Ava will cover." She even included a link to the hotel's site, circled the discreet check-in option. Click. Boom. Time-stamped. 8 days ago. The same day Emmy dropped the bomb in the living room. I sat back, heart thudding. Covered lot. 2 entrances. Discreet. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't a moment of weakness or emotional confusion. It was planned. And Ava? She'd been her mother's shield. Told to cover like this was a low-budget heist, not a family imploding in slow motion. I copied the email. Saved the whole thread. Sent it to myself with a subject line I'd remember. Happy Hotel Day. Then I opened iCloud. Pulled down Ava's Snap memories. The same ones she hadn't cleared after her sloppy lie. The videos were all there. Laughing with her friends. Riding scooters. Making dumb faces. Timestamped. Geotagged. No Carrie in sight. I edited the clips down to a neat little 30-second compilation. Ava at Kayla's all day. I added a title slide. When your alibi for mom's affair is a Snapchat filter. I didn't need to scream. I didn't need to rage. I just needed to let the truth talk. The next morning, Carrie came into the room all chipper and backlit by the sun like she hadn't detonated our marriage. "Party's gonna be great," she said, holding 2 mugs. "I made your favorite tea." I took it. Smiled. "You invited Morgan, right?" I asked. She blinked. "Morgan, Peter's wife." "Oh, I think so." I gave her a look. "Yeah," she said quickly. "Yeah, I did." "Good," I said. "I've been meaning to talk to her." Carrie paused for half a second, then brushed it off. "I'm gonna make that big pasta bake everyone loves," she said, like food would plug the hole in the hull. And Emmy made those little paper flags for the table. It's adorable. I watched her bustle around the kitchen. Noticed how she moved faster when nervous. She always did that. Chatter and motion, a magician trying to distract the audience. Too late. I was already behind the curtain. 3 p.m. Saturday. The house looked like an ad for suburban resilience. Streamers. Buffet table. Welcome back, Dad. Sign made by Emmy and glitter bomb to hell. Tyler and Ava were on drink duty, which really just meant avoiding people and checking their phones. And then they arrived. Neighbors. Friends. Co-workers. Peter and Morgan. Peter looked smug, hair gelled, shirt tucked, like he was proud to show up at the scene of the crime. Morgan wore this easy, breezy smile, completely unaware her marriage was dangling off a cliff. Carrie floated around greeting everyone, hugging, laughing, pretending like we were just one big happy family. She kissed my cheek at least twice in front of people, as if that would delete the emails and hotel receipts. Everyone gathered around once the food came out. It was time for this slideshow, which Carrie thought was a montage of recovery photos. Crutches. Laughing selfies. That one picture where I was asleep mid-spoonful of Jell-O. I stood up, remote in one hand. Before we eat, I said, I want to say something. Carrie beamed. Being out of commission taught me a lot. I continued. Like who I can really count on. Nods. Smiles. Claps. And who's lying through their teeth. A few people blinked. Nervous laughter. Carrie's smile froze. Click. Slide 1. Ava's Snapchat videos, her with friends. Dancing. Laughing. Filters. Caption. Thursday, Ava's at Kayla's. Slide 2. Screenshot of the email to Peter. Subject line, hotel options. Slide 3. Emmy's voice, pulled from a video I secretly recorded the day she spilled it. Playing over the speakers. Mommy go hotel with Peter. The room went silent. Like dead. Peter turned white. Morgan blinked like she'd just woken up from a nap inside a nightmare. Carrie stepped forward. What is this? Oh, just some recovery highlights, I said. Thought everyone should see what helped me get back on my feet. Carrie looked around, panic rising. This is private. Should have thought of that before using a toddler as your decoy. Gasps. Morgan slapped Peter. Like, full palm, echo through the living room slap. He didn't even defend himself. Just stood there, blinking. Carrie turned to Ava. Did you know about this? Ava looked at her. Really looked. Then she burst into tears. I didn't want to lie, she sobbed. You made me. But I didn't comfort her. Not this time. Because she did lie. She chose Carrie. And now she gotta live with that choice. I've already spoken to a lawyer, I said. Full custody. You'll be hearing from them Monday. Carrie's face went slack. She stammered. I just wanted something for me. You got it, I said. And I want something for me too. What? Freedom. I turned to Emmy, who was sitting on the couch with her stuffed giraffe. Come on, kiddo. Let's go get some real food. And just like that, I left the house. Left the mess. Left them all to sort it out. I didn't look back. I didn't need to. Because for once, just once, the truth was loud enough. It's funny what people remember from a party. Some would probably talk about the pasta bake. Others might fixate on the glitter sign or the 4th of July style red, white, and blue cupcakes Carrie made from scratch, like sugar could glue a broken marriage together. But me? I'll always remember the silence. The way it hit like a blackout the moment I played Emmy's voice through the speakers. Mommy go hotel with Peter. Like some kind of child oracle delivering judgment in bunny pajamas. After I walked out of the house, with Emmy in one arm and my dignity, miraculously, intact, I didn't go far. Just down the block to Greg's place. Greg's my neighbor, divorced twice, big into poker and woodworking, always has a beer fridge stocked like he's hosting the Super Bowl, even when it's Tuesday. He didn't ask questions, just opened the door, saw my face, and said, Carrie, huh? I nodded. Lawn chairs out back. You want light beer or bourbon? Surprise me. He brought both. By the time I came home later that night, the party was long over. The only evidence left were half-inflated balloons swaying on the mailbox and an empty folding chair knocked sideways on the lawn like someone fled in a hurry. Carrie was in the kitchen, alone, no makeup, still in her party dress, barefoot, hair frizzed, mascara halfway down her cheek like she'd been trying not to cry all day and gave up halfway through. Ava was nowhere in sight. Tyler had been strategically invisible since this whole mess started, probably holed up in his room, trying to speed-run his way through high school and out of this house. Emmy was asleep upstairs, safe, snuggled in my hoodie, probably dreaming about juice boxes and stuffed giraffes. I didn't say anything at first, just stood in the doorway, arms crossed, watching her fidget with a wine glass she hadn't poured anything into. Finally, she looked up. "What you did today," she said softly. "That was cruel." I snorted. "You used our daughter as a human shield. You lied. You had a full-blown affair while I was on painkillers and barely able to wipe my own ass. And I'm the cruel one." I wasn't thinking clearly. "Bull," I snapped. "You were thinking just fine. You picked the hotel. You timed the entrance. You coordinated an alibi with our teenage daughter like it was a crime caper." She slammed the glass down on the counter. "I was lonely. You were married. To a man who barely looked at me." I stepped closer, voice low. "And yet you were real eager to show me off to all our friends today. Look how great Nate's doing. Like you hadn't been sneaking around with Peter behind my back while Emmy was playing with Legos in the next room." Her lip quivered. "I made a mistake." I shook my head. "No. You made decisions. A mistake is forgetting to pick up milk. You made moves. On purpose. With intent. And you dragged our daughter into it." She sat down heavily at the table. "She's a kid," she said. "She didn't know. She knew enough to lie. Enough to cover. Enough to protect you. She was scared. She should have been. That shut her up." We sat there, silence stretching like a rubber band pulled too far. "Finally," I said, "you're going to lose custody." Her head snapped up. "You don't mean that." "I do. You take Emmy away from me?" "I didn't take anything. You gave it up. When you made your teenage daughter an accomplice and left your toddler to figure out that mommy's friend is more than just a buddy." She looked like she wanted to argue, like she had a speech lined up. Something about second chances, or therapy, or how everyone makes mistakes. But the words didn't come. She just crumbled. Quietly, head in hands. Broken. I didn't take joy in watching her fall apart. But I didn't feel bad either. You can't build sympathy for someone who handed you a knife, smiled, and waited for you to turn around. Later that night, I found Ava in the garage, sitting on a beanbag, hoodie pulled tight, scrolling through her phone like it could undo time. I knocked on the frame. She looked up, startled. "You mad?" she asked, voice small. "I'm disappointed," I said, "and a little sad." She blinked fast, probably trying not to cry again. "I didn't want to lie," she said. "But Mom said you couldn't handle stress. That if you found out while you were recovering it could hurt you." She was protecting herself, Ava. Not me. And not you. She didn't answer. "You know what hurt me?" I said, "Hearing my toddler explain your mom's affair better than any adult could, and then watching you back it up." "I didn't mean to." "I know," I interrupted. "But you did. You picked her side. You knew she was cheating. And you chose silence." Her shoulders sagged. "I just wanted things to stay normal." I sighed, sat down beside her. "Nothing about this has ever been normal. I didn't want to lose you." That one hit me. "I'm not going anywhere," I said. "But there are consequences. You're not a little kid anymore. You can't lie and act like it's fine." She nodded. "I'm sorry. I believe you." And I did. But sorry didn't glue the house back together. It just acknowledged the cracks. Monday came. I met with the lawyer. Showed him everything. The emails, the videos, the Snapchat timestamps. Emmy's recorded voice. The party photos. The aftermath. He didn't even blink. "This is airtight," he said. "You'll get primary custody. Especially since your wife involved one of the children in the cover-up." "Good," I said. He raised an eyebrow. "Most people don't sound this calm." I looked him dead in the eye. "Most people don't take their pain personally. I take mine like a business meeting." He chuckled, but he got it. I wasn't here for pity. I was here for consequences. Carrie tried to talk me out of it. 3 times. First, she texted me, "Please don't do this. We can fix it." Then she left a voicemail. "I made a mistake. But I'm still their mother. Don't punish me like this." Finally, she came to me in person. Tears. Makeup free. Wearing one of my old college sweatshirts like that would soften me. "I'll do anything," she said. "Therapy. Mediation. Whatever it takes." I just looked at her. "Anything." She nodded quickly, then signed the custody agreement. Her mouth opened. Closed. "You said anything." She hesitated. Then she signed. Not because she believed she deserved it, but because she finally realized she had no cards left to play. When it was done, I sat Emmy down. She didn't understand custody or divorce or betrayal. She just knew Mommy wasn't around as much anymore and Daddy looked tired. I knelt beside her. "Sweetie," I said, "you're going to stay with me for a while. Is that okay?" She blinked, thought about it, then nodded. "Can Giraffe stay too?" "Always." She smiled and went back to coloring. Simple. Clean. Uncomplicated. And maybe one day, she'll ask questions. Maybe one day, she'll want to know why mommy doesn't live here. Why her sister cries sometimes. Why her brother slams his door more than usual. But when that day comes, I'll be ready. Because the truth doesn't scare me anymore. It belongs to me now. You ever notice how empty a house feels after a storm passes? Not just quiet, hollow. The furniture's still there. The walls haven't moved. But the air? It changes. Like the space itself knows something's broken. That's how it felt the first full week after Carrie moved out. She packed light. Or maybe out of shame. Just one suitcase, some work clothes, and a drawer of makeup she hadn't used in a while. No big goodbyes. No dramatic pleading. Just a Thursday morning, a short text. I'll be by around 9 to get my things. I told her Ava would be at school. Tyler wouldn't notice, as usual. And Emmy? I took her to the park before Carrie arrived. I didn't want her watching her mother leave like she was just heading to the grocery store. The courts hadn't finalized everything yet, but my lawyer said the judge had already flagged the case as high-risk betrayal of parental trust, which was legal speak for Carrie's cooked. What surprised me most wasn't that I felt relief. It was how normal it felt, like I'd already been living without her for months. Turns out, I had. The kids were adjusting in their own weird ways. Tyler mostly kept to himself. I found out he knew something was going on long before I did. But true to 16-year-old boy form, he decided it wasn't his business unless it affected his Wi-Fi. We had exactly one conversation about it. Did you know? I asked. He shrugged. I figured something was off, but I didn't want to get involved. Would you have told me if Emmy didn't? Another shrug. I didn't know. Probably. If it got worse. I wanted to be mad. But truth was, I couldn't blame him. He was a kid stuck in the middle of a grown-up mess. And judging by his gaming habits, he'd chosen to deal with emotional chaos the way most teenage boys do, by pretending it doesn't exist and leveling up. Ava was different. She went through stages, denial, anger, guilt, like she was speedrunning the 5 stages of grief. But instead of tears, she threw herself into everything. Cleaning, school, helping with Emmy. I caught her baking muffins at 10 p.m. on a school night, just to do something useful. I don't hate her, she told me one night as we sat on the back steps. I know. I just feel stupid. You're not stupid. She made me feel like I was protecting the family. She made you protect her from the family. A long silence. Do you still love her? I took a breath. Thought about it. I don't know what that word even means anymore, I said. She nodded. That was enough. Emmy was the only one who didn't treat me like glass. She still called me daddy, still asked for stories, still sang her weird made-up songs about giraffes and bananas and monster trucks. Every time she looked at me, I remembered what mattered, and what I almost lost. One night, while brushing her teeth, she turned and said, Mommy said she's gonna be better now. I looked up from the sink. She did. Emmy nodded. She said she's gonna fix it. Be a good mommy again. I kneeled. Sweetie, I said gently, you know I love you, right? She nodded, foamy toothbrush halfway out of her mouth. And mommy loves you too. But sometimes, grown-ups hurt each other. And when that happens, we have to live in different places so everyone can feel okay again. She didn't cry, didn't frown, just asked, is that why you were sad when I said the hotel thing? That hit me. Hard. I managed to smile. No, baby. That didn't make me sad. That helped me. She giggled. I helped you. You sure did. She went back to brushing, humming something tuneless. Just a regular Wednesday in the Wilcox house. Minus one parent. I got a call from Morgan, Peter's wife, 3 days after the party. She sounded like someone who'd just opened Pandora's box and realized there was no going back. Hi, Nate, she said, voice tight. Hi, Morgan. I just wanted to say thank you. That caught me off guard. For telling me, showing me. Most people wouldn't have the guts. I wasn't aiming for bravery. Just clarity. She laughed, dry, bitter. Well, you nailed it. I left him. Moved out the day after the party. Good. I also told his boss about the hotel points he racked up under the corporate card. I chuckled. Even better. We were silent for a second. Not awkward. Just 2 people holding the same truth in their hands, weighing it like a hot stone. If you ever want to talk, she said finally, I've got wine. Or rage. Or both. Appreciate that. You're not alone, Nate. Neither are you. She hung up. I stared at my phone for a long time. It was the first time I realized, maybe this doesn't end with just surviving. Maybe we get to grow. Carrie still tried to call. Once a day at first, then every other, then texts, then emails. Always framed like we had gone through something. Never like she had caused something. I didn't block her. I didn't need to. Eventually, silence speaks louder than anger. I forwarded everything to my lawyer. Let him build the case. Every "I missed the kids" text. Every "please reconsider" voicemail. Every apology shaped like a boomerang, always curving back to her own pain. She never asked how Emmy was doing. That told me everything I needed to know. We had our first full family weekend, minus Carrie, on a sunny Saturday with no plans. That's a bigger milestone than it sounds. No one crying. No yelling. Just us. I grilled burgers. Tyler actually came outside. Ava helped Emmy make a lemonade stand no one visited, but she insisted on giving away free cups to heroes, which apparently included her stuffed elephant and one mildly confused UPS driver. That night, we played Monopoly and made it 2 full rounds before Tyler rage quit and Ava started auctioning off properties just to watch the world burn. Normal. Real normal. Not fake family photo normal. Not smile for the guests normal. Just ours. Later that night, I stood in the hallway watching the 3 of them sleep. Tyler, snoring like a lawnmower. Ava, headphones in, one arm flopped off the bed. Emmy, curled into a ball, giraffe tucked under her chin. I didn't cry. Didn't sigh dramatically. I just stood there and let it hit me. This is my new life. Not the one Carrie and I built together. The one I built out of what was left. And somehow, it was stronger than before. More honest. More mine. I went to bed and slept better than I had in months. Because for the first time, I wasn't guarding a secret. I wasn't wondering if I'd missed a clue. I wasn't trying to read between the lines of my own marriage. I was free. The day the custody hearing arrived, it felt like someone had flipped the thermostat in my chest. I wasn't nervous, not in the way most people are when they walk into court. No cold sweat, no heart palpitations. Just this eerie, deliberate calm. Like I was walking into a business meeting where I already knew the outcome. The kind where the other side shows up hoping for a compromise, but you've brought every receipt, every timestamp, every weaponized truth in your back pocket. And Carrie? She showed up in beige. A beige blouse. Beige heels. A soft beige skirt, like she dressed for humility. Like the courtroom would mistake her for modest just because she muted the color scheme. She sat across from me at the table, flanked by her lawyer, a new one this time. Someone younger, probably cheaper. She didn't look at me, didn't smile, just stared down at her folded hands like she was waiting for a priest to give her the bad news. The judge entered. Tall, gray hair, zero patience. I liked her immediately. Let's get to it, she said. And just like that, the last 2 decades of my life, marriage, children, betrayal, lies, were reduced to affidavits and exhibits in a manila folder labeled Wilcox versus Wilcox. My lawyer started with the easy stuff. We had joint assets. The house was in both our names. The car, the bank account, the retirement. We'd already agreed on a split there. Carrie could keep the second car and the unused beach timeshare her mom gifted us, and I always hated. I got the house, not because I wanted it, but because the kids needed stability, and I was the one creating it now. Then came the custody portion. I handed the judge a flash drive. My lawyer nodded. If Your Honor will allow, he said, this is a compilation of evidence regarding the respondent's pattern of deceptive behavior and parental manipulation. The judge plugged it into her laptop. Slide 1. The email Carrie sent to Peter. Timestamped. Slide 2. Snap memories from Ava. Geotagged. Slide 3. A short clip of Emmy. Her sweet little voice echoing in the courtroom. Mommy go hotel with Peter. The judge's face stayed stone still, but her fingers curled once on the desk. Just enough to signal she was absorbing every bit of it. My lawyer followed up. There's a clear record of the respondent involving one child in the cover-up of extramarital activity, while neglecting the developmental impact on the youngest child. Carrie's lawyer objected. Your Honor, this is character assassination. No, the judge interrupted. This is relevant. Continue. Carrie finally looked up. Her face was pale, lips trembling. I saw it, that flicker of realization. Not that she was losing, that she'd already lost. When it was her turn to speak, she went for the jugular. I was overwhelmed, she said, tears in her voice like syrup. Nate had just come out of surgery. I was doing everything, the house, the kids, his recovery. I made a mistake, but I never stopped loving my children. The judge cut her off. Is it your position that your daughter volunteered to cover for you on her own? Carrie paused. I. I may have told her not to say anything. You involved a minor in an affair cover-up. Is that correct? She swallowed hard. I made a bad judgment call. Indeed, the judge said. Her lawyer tried to pivot. Mrs. Wilcox has expressed remorse and is seeking co-parenting. She's seeking damage control, I muttered. The judge didn't even blink. By the time we left the courtroom, the ruling was in. Primary custody awarded to me. Carrie would get visitation, but under conditions. No overnights for 90 days. Supervised exchanges. A court-appointed counselor for Emmy. And mandatory parenting classes. It wasn't revenge. It was accountability. As we walked out, Carrie caught up with me. Nate, please. I turned to her. You had a dozen chances to tell the truth. You could have come clean. Could have admitted it without dragging Ava into your mess. But you made your daughter your alibi. You made your toddler your collateral. This isn't punishment, Carrie. This is you living with the mirror you broke. She blinked. The wind knocked out of her. I didn't wait for her response. The next few weeks were a weird mix of healing and awkward transitions. Tyler still barely talked to anyone unless food was involved. But one night, while making burgers, he finally spoke up. So we good now? I flipped a patty. We're getting there. He nodded like that was enough. Ava was different. She stuck close. Did dishes without asking. Picked Emmy up from daycare when I was running late. She wanted to earn something back. Trust, maybe. Or her place in the house. One night, I caught her deleting old photos from her phone. What are you doing? I asked. Cleaning house. I didn't ask what she meant. But I saw the screen. A selfie of her and Carrie. Matching faces. Fake smiles. Girls' Day, in bubble letters. Gone with a swipe. You don't have to erase everything, I said. She looked up. I'm not erasing it. Just deciding what deserves space. I nodded. That made sense. Then came the Sunday visit. Carrie's first scheduled time with the kids. She showed up exactly on the dot. 2 p.m. Emmy opened the door and lit up like it was Christmas. Mommy. Carrie dropped to her knees and hugged her tight. But the hug lingered. Long. Almost desperate. Like she was holding on to something that was already slipping. Ava stood behind me, arms crossed. I'll go get her bag, she muttered, disappearing upstairs. Carrie looked at me over Emmy's shoulder. I'll have her back by 6. I nodded. Stick to the schedule. I will. She tried to smile, but it didn't reach her eyes. Emmy waved from the car as they drove off. Carrie didn't look back. I closed the door. Ava stood beside me again, holding Emmy's overnight bag even though she wouldn't need it. She still doesn't get it, does she? Nope. I almost feel sorry for her. Don't. Why not? Because sorry's what got her this far in the first place. That night, Emmy came back and ran straight into the living room. I had ice cream, and Mommy took me to a store, and I got a sticker. Wow, I said. That's a lot. She said she's going to get better. I smiled and pulled her into my lap. Getting better is good, I said. As long as you know we're okay already. She looked up at me, big-eyed. You not mad anymore? I paused. No, I said. I'm not mad. And I wasn't. Because the storm was over. And for the first time in a long time, I wasn't bracing for impact. I was building again. Brick by brick. Choice by choice. Truth over comfort. Peace over pity. Us over her. I didn't expect the final goodbye to happen at a playground. Emmy was wearing her rainbow jacket. The one with the 2 long sleeves and the ketchup stain she'd gotten last week from those chicken nuggets she insists on dipping twice. It was a little windy that day. Ava sat on the bench next to me, scrolling her phone with one earbud in, pretending not to be emotionally invested in what was about to unfold. But she was. Tyler wasn't there. He'd chosen, in the quietest way possible, to disengage from this version of Carrie. He didn't say he hated her. He didn't say anything at all. He just opted out. When I asked if he wanted to come, he looked up from his laptop and said, I'm good. I let it be. This meeting wasn't court-ordered. It wasn't on a visitation calendar. It was something Carrie had asked for through my lawyer. She wanted to talk. Not to me. To Ava. I had conditions. It would be in public. I would stay nearby. Emmy would be present, but not a part of it. And Ava could leave at any time. I half expected her to say no. Instead, she said, I want to hear what she thinks redemption looks like. Carrie arrived in a beige minivan she'd borrowed from a friend. Her once pristine makeup was lighter these days. Her hair less styled. She looked 10 years older than she did at the party. Maybe grief will do that to you. Or maybe living without a lie to stand behind just robs people of their color. She waved at Emmy, who was too busy arguing with a sandbox bucket to notice. Then she walked over to Ava. I just want a few minutes, she said. Ava stood, arms crossed. You've got 5. Carrie didn't cry this time. Didn't grovel. Didn't even offer the fake apologies I half expected. Instead, she said something that shocked even me. I failed you. Ava didn't move. I dragged you into my mistakes because I didn't want to own them, Carrie said. I made you lie. I made you believe that protecting me was love. And that was cruel. Ava's lip curled. You think? Carrie nodded. I don't expect forgiveness. Good. I just didn't want the last thing between us to be a courtroom and a slideshow. Ava looked away, jaw clenched. You humiliated me, she said. I lied for you. I fought Dad for you. And you let me burn. I know. You made me feel like it was our secret. Like we were protecting something. But it was just you protecting you. I know. There was a pause. And for a moment, I saw Ava flinch. Not physically, emotionally. Like a part of her wanted to reach out. But then she straightened. You don't get a do-over, she said. You don't get to rewrite it. I'm not asking to. Good. Carrie looked down. I'm working on myself, she said quietly. I'm in therapy. I'm trying to understand why I made the choices I did. Ava laughed, short, sharp. Took you long enough. Carrie looked up. I love you. Ava's face didn't change. I love the version of you that protected this family, she said. Not the one who used me like a firewall. And with that, she turned and walked away. Didn't run. Didn't cry. Just walked. I stood as she approached. She didn't say a word, just took Emmy's hand and started walking toward the car. I gave Carrie one last glance. She didn't wave. She just stood there, like she was finally realizing the cost of everything she traded, and how bankrupt she really was. That night, Ava knocked on my bedroom door. Can I ask you something? Shoot. Do you think she meant it? The apology? She nodded. Yeah, I said. I do. Do you care? I paused. I care that she's trying. But not for me. For who, then? For herself. And for you guys. She sat on the edge of the bed. I think a part of me wants to forgive her, she said. But another part wants to watch her suffer. I smiled softly. Both can be true. Which one wins? The one you feed. She was quiet for a while. I'm tired of feeding the anger, she said. I nodded. Then you're on the right track. She stood. Good night, Dad. Night, sweetheart. 2 months passed. The custody became permanent. Carrie moved to a nearby town. Started seeing Emmy once every 2 weeks, under supervision. She showed up. She followed the rules. But she never crossed the line again. Ava graduated high school with honors. Got into a state school. Tyler started dating. I didn't ask questions. He didn't offer explanations. It worked. And Emmy? She kept being Emmy. One day, she drew a picture at daycare. Me, Ava, Tyler, herself, and a giraffe, all holding hands. There was a stick figure floating above us with the word Mommy in a speech bubble that said, I'm learning. That one made me tear up. Because she captured it perfectly. Carrie wasn't gone. But she wasn't inside the circle anymore. And somehow that was okay. People ask me if I do it differently. If I wish I hadn't exposed Carrie the way I did. If the welcome home party was too brutal. Too public. But here's what I tell them. Sometimes the only way to break a cycle is to shatter it in front of an audience. To make the lie so impossible to repackage that even the people who wanted to believe it are forced to see it for what it is. I didn't do it to humiliate her. I did it to stop protecting her. Because for too long, I was her alibi, her shield, her emotional flak jacket. And when I stopped, she finally had to face the blast. I still keep that video file on a USB stick. Not out of spite, not to relive the pain, but as a reminder that truth, no matter how late it arrives, always lands louder than the lie. It echoes, it scars, but it also heals. Not because it fixes everything, but because it ends something. And from that ending, I built something better. A home, a family, and a life I no longer had to question. The truth didn't just set me free. It rewrote everything. From the ashes, I didn't just recover. I rebuilt. And this time, I used stone. Subscribe to the channel